All right, hopefully this is the third try here that we get it right. You know, they say that saying the third time's a charm. Sorry, I gotta put the camera in the mount. It would not flip to landscape. Stupid freaking YouTube. It's weird. So hopefully this is the right way, and you guys are seeing everything okay. And I apologize for the technical difficulties, but here we go. Yeah, it looks good to me. Finally, freaking A. So people are probably coming left, and they're like, screw this nonsense. So let's get that a little more zoomed in. There we go. Welcome to the chat, guys. Thanks for stopping by on Easter Sunday. Hope your Easter Sunday is going good. Mine has been nice and relaxing, which is always nice. So hopefully we get some more peeps to join because no one's here. Probably because I've done this 3 times now, and they're probably like, amateur hour. But honestly, it wasn't me. My phone was being, it wasn't even my phone. It was just YouTube. Let me fix this. Looks a little wonky. There we go. There's a delay on the iPad, so. I'm live, right? Crickets. Nice. Luckily, I have Dream. Oh my gosh. When I was typing that in, it must have auto-corrected from stream to dream. This is my weekly live dream, everybody. Welcome to my dream. More like my nightmare. Oh, wow. That's hilarious. Well, I'm just going to chill here until people start joining. Probably. What's up, Logan? Yeah, you're the only one so far. This is my 3rd try, though, getting this to go live. It was, every time it would go in freaking portrait mode, and I was like, oh my gosh, stupid thing, turn. What the deal is with it, but finally got it to work with me. So thanks for stopping by. I hope you're having a good Easter Sunday. I am having a nice, relaxing Easter Sunday myself. So thanks for stopping by. We'll let a few more people join before I really start getting into anything. Yeah, it is 4 times in a row. It happens every week when I try to go live. It says rotate device. When you're doing a live stream, it always starts out in portrait. And it says rotate device. And every time I turn my phone and it doesn't flip. So I hit the little button and it says rotate device, and I hit that button again. And I'm like, I can't rotate the device more than I'm rotating it. And it's just a pain. But it worked. And what's funny is I scheduled it, and I scheduled it in landscape. So you think it would automatically go into landscape, but it didn't. Oh. Either I'm just being dumb and doing something wrong, or it's YouTube. I think it's something to do with the app on the phone, honestly. That's what I'm doing it through, is the app on the phone. And I think it has something to do with that. Because it has issues sometimes when I'm trying to watch videos in landscape. I don't know why. I may be the only one that has that problem. But here we are. Got some knives out on the table. I wonder if Slicey Dicey's stream's not over yet. That could be why we're not getting like anyone viewing. Usually goes for about an hour. But I know he was doing like a giveaway, which is actually a really good idea, to do a live drawing for a giveaway. I might have to do that. I like that idea. Little guy, Alliance Designs. Well, this is kind of sad. Hopefully more people come. Yep, that is a new Nkosi and SNG. Yeah, I sold a bunch of knives recently because I ended up switching jobs, and for a second there I wasn't sure that how long I was gonna be like transitioning between jobs. Huh. Yes, you know, Steve, I hit the right button every time. I turn my phone sideways to go to landscape, and then I hit the rotate device, and it never works. It's frustrating. I don't know why. It's some kind of thing with the app, I think. But yeah, I sold a bunch of knives and stuff recently, and got some money and stuff, and then thought I was gonna be like a longer transition between jobs, and it ended up being like a week. So it was kind of a freak out, but I didn't need to freak out. So yeah, sold some stuff, bought some stuff. This is my latest acquisition, the SNG. This is from the latest run from Mixed Rider, and it is awesome. I love SNGs. I think they're sweet. This one's in 20 CV, so still breaking in. And the Nkosi is the knife art Nkosi, and I can't open it because it's got dual thumb studs. You can middle finger flick. Oh, I love dual thumb studs. Every Sebenza should have them, and the Nkosis come standard, so I went with a large knife art Nkosi this time, and it's fantastic. It's very, very smooth. And I don't have to use my thumb. This knife actually sliced my thumb so bad today. Like, I've got steri strips on there, and then I just put some tape over it to kind of protect it, you know, so they'd stick, and it stopped bleeding, but it wouldn't stop bleeding for a long time. And yeah, this Nkosi's sharp, and man, oh look, I can open it with my thumb. Kind of hurt a little bit actually. It's a sharp little guy. Sliced me pretty good, and I swear I've cut probably a good inch off my thumb of skin over the years because I always cut that same thumb. It's like this same freaking thumb every single time. It's because I'm just messing around with knives when I'm doing things and I should be paying attention and I'm not, and I end up slicing my finger. And raise your hand if you've never done that before. Yeah, no one on the chat, all three of you have ever done that before, right? So, so I activated this, well, we'll wait till more people come and I'll talk about that in a minute, but so yeah, I just got a few knives out in front of us today. Got some videos. Is that the knife art card? Yes, that is the knife art carbon fiber Nkosi. That's exactly what it is. You can tell because the dual thumb studs and the finger grooves versus the Sebenza. And the stop pin and the pivot looks different. I mean, there's lots of differences. So, it's a huge weight difference, dude. It weighs like under 4 ounces. It's a large. It's a massive. It's like an ounce. It's a good, yeah, I think it's 3.9 ounces. What's up, Kark? Yes, I do love the new Strider. I absolutely have a hard time finding one. And when I found one, I had to jump on it. It's the Fatty. So it's got the same blade stock as the SMF, but it's actually ground pretty thin behind the edge, which is nice. So it's still going to cut really nice, even though it has that really thin blade stock, or thick blade stock. And then I wasn't like super sure about this aluminum scale. I liked the design on it and stuff, but I'm like, I don't know how that's going to wear. But you know what? Like, I had to grab one because I missed having the SNG really bad, and they just released a new. It's got pretty early lockup too. A little bit of stick. It'll break in. That's how Striders are. I mean, the little stick doesn't bother me because it functions so well. So, what's up, Fabio? Thanks for stopping by. It's actually showing like there's no one in the chat right now, so that's kind of weird. But I can see all these comments, but like when it tells you the number of people, it doesn't show anything. It's kind of weird. But I can obviously see you guys in here, so. But yeah, it's a huge weight difference, Logan. It's definitely worth. I love the knife arts, and they're not even like more expensive. That's the crazy. I mean, they're $25, I think, more. Not even a big deal because you get the carbon fiber scale and you get a huge weight savings. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Got some Hanks out here too. doing food. What's up, Sharp Edge? I'm doing food prep with Boker Senugo. Is that the new? Is that the new knife that they just came out with? You know what's weird is on my phone, it's more zoomed in. Like I'm seeing this drawer right here. On my phone, I'm not. It's kind of weird. Is that new Boker that just came out that has like the leather lanyard tied onto it? Really slim. I was curious about that guy. Unfortunately, I'm not buying any more knives for a while. So, got some Hanks out here, guys. These are, I did a video on these a little while ago, but I wanted to kind of give them a shout out. Mighty Hanks. I don't usually carry Hanks, but the reason why I carry these is they have microfiber on this side. They're smaller by a lot than most Hanks, and they have microfibers, so you can wipe your knives down, you can wipe your sunglasses, whatever, with a really soft surface, and then you've got this side for, whatever. So they sent me a couple of these a little while ago, and those are the two I carry all the time. Big Star Wars guy. Can't wait for the Mandalorian to come out. Have you guys seen the trailer for the Mandalorian live action TV series? Oh man, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, I can't really like look at things while I'm watching the comments and doing the chat, so probably won't be a long one tonight because Game of Thrones is on, like right now, actually. Maybe that's why no one's here. Oh, I'm gonna watch it with my wife. It's recording, so I won't make it a long stream tonight. Also got a new flashlight recently, and thank you, Chris. God bless you too, and happy Easter to you and your family. Appreciate that, buddy. EDC, I got a new Surefire. This is my first. I didn't even think about that. Doing a live stream during Game of Thrones. Not a good idea. I should probably reschedule the time. Got a new Surefire light. This is my first Surefire light, I think, ever. No, that's not true. I had the... Oh, man, what was it called? Back in the day, it was like a polymer light. I can't remember what Surefire, what the model number was, but it was all polymer. And then I did like an LED, a Mac-off LED drop-in. A lot bigger than this one. This is the EDC L1T. I got a really good deal on this because these are pretty freaking expensive flashlights. $150, I think, on Amazon. Maybe a little bit less than that. But man, I just want to see if it lived up to the hype. And these things are built like tanks. I mean, the electronics are potted. It just feels more sturdy. Like, it's hard to explain, but compared to like an Olight or a Streamlight or any other kind of light that I have, it feels way more stout. It just feels beefy. So I've got the Thyrum ring on there too. Guys, if you're wondering what this is the Thyrum ring. It's called the Thyrum Switchback, and it basically is designed to shoot while holding the light. You can press this button in right here. On this one, it's got the 2 modes, and you can, like, if you want to use it as a normal flashlight, and then to switch to shoot with your handgun, you actually use like this, and then you have the gun and you have it in a dual grip like you normally would, and then you press forward with your this part of your finger. I'm going to do a video on it eventually. It's a really cool system. If you guys don't have a weapon mounted light, or even if you do have a weapon mounted light, I definitely recommend the Thyrum Switchback. So I've got a couple of them. I got the one for the 18650 satellite, and this is a CR123. So I've got a few knives on the table. These 3, I've got videos coming on very soon. In fact, actually this one got released today, the Arcurus. Man, I can never remember how to pronounce all these freaking names of knives. Did a video on that one, Arrakis. I'm pretty sure it's the Arrakis. Today, that went live. This is a pass-around knife, so I'm actually sending this one back tomorrow. And then the Pat Hammond Alliance Design Scout from Urban EDC Supply, also on pass-around. teeny knife. Didn't realize it was this small. It's teeny. I mean, look, it like fits in my hand. It's so tiny. But it's well made. And then the Shaman. I never got this knife when it first came out because I wasn't terribly interested in it because it was so big and kind of bulky, and it just for some reason didn't appeal to me. But then I got it on a pass around and started carrying it and using it, and I was like, man, this thing's a beast. I like carrying it. I like using it. It's got a great action, super comfy handle. So yeah, I have a video coming on the Shaman. I did the review. It's all recorded. It's just got to upload. I've got it scheduled. I'm gonna be out next week for the whole week, pretty much for work out of town. So, I have my own. Hey, Herm, thank you so much, dude. I really, really appreciate that. I'm glad you did that. I can kind of talk about that now. So Herm just put in a $5 donation. You can do that with a little button in the bottom right corner. It has like a dollar sign, and that's called Super Chat. I just barely turned that on for this chat. I saw Slicey Dicey had on his chat, and I was like, how the heck did he do that? So I went and looked, and I found out where I had to turn it on. So I really, really appreciate that, Herm. That is awesome. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So I've got these 3 videos coming this week on these 3 knives. Actually, I don't know if the Shaman will go live this week, but these 2 for sure. Well, that one's already live. I've got a couple other videos coming out, but even though I'll be gone, I've got them scheduled. Kark, I didn't want to miss your question. It does have a nice thin hollow grind. I think it's a different hollow grind, though. They've kind of made it a little different for the Inkosi. It's still hollow ground, but I think they had another name for it, and it's escaping me right now. What they call the new hollow grind on the Inkosis. I did a video a while ago when the Inkosi first came out, comparing it to the Savenza, and I know I covered it in that video. It is hollow ground, yes, and it's very thin. And as this wound on my thumb can tell you, it's very slicey. It sliced into me pretty good in the tip of my thumb. That's why I've got this tape, and I've got some steri strips over there because it was bleeding like a sieve. Yes, so it is hollow ground, but they call it something different now. I can't remember what they call the hollow grind, but it's still hollow ground. It's just a little bit different than the Sabenza, as far as I understand. So, didn't want to ignore your question. I've also got this guy in recently, the HEA Design Hunter. I've been wanting to get one of these for a while, but I had a hard time paying the full price for these guys for the use of the 154 CM steel. I thought it was just kind of whatever for $200 that they cost. So I found a really good deal on one used. Pretty much, actually, it wasn't even used. It was like new, but it was maybe it had been carried once or something. And so I picked one of these up. This is like the ice gray G10. Really, really nice front flipper. Really small, but like a really good office EDC. I'm back at an office full time now, and I was working from home for the last like 8 months, but back in office full time, and I needed like a little bit smaller knives, which I already, I have a few. I have some small Sabenzas and a small Hinderer and a few other small knives. So, but I wanted to check this one out, so I'll do a video on this one. It probably won't come for a little while though, because I'm going to be out of town. And I've got some other videos ahead of it. But I'll definitely do a review on this guy, the HEA Design Hunter. But I really like it. Really well made. I just wish they would have gone with a better steel choice for the money. Nothing wrong with 154 CM, but S30s everywhere these days, right? I mean, everyone's doing S30 and S35. Why not do one of those steels? I'm sure they're easily accessible and not expensive. I mean, think about the Shaman's S30, all the new Spydercos, the Smock's S30. Benchmade's doing a lot of stuff in S30, and then S35, obviously. Chris Reed's been doing it for years, but a lot of the manufacturers are doing S35. 20 CV, very common. That's what this Strider's in. So I would just like to see a little bit better steel choice for them for the amount of money they're charging for them. But they are fantastic little knives, so I definitely recommend getting one if you can find one for a good price. I don't know that they're worth $200, but they're definitely worth. Yeah, there is, Logan. That's actually a good point, and I'm going to cover that in my. I did cover it in my video on the Shaman. The Shaman is kind of a budget Strider in some ways. Obviously not a frame lock. not as beefy. They're both really beefy knives, um, but and there is a lot of similarities. The blade shapes are a little similar. They're very very similar blade shapes, about the same size. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. You're absolutely right, and I think if you like, yeah, if you like the Strider, but you don't want to, you can't find one, want to put the money out for one, the Shaman's definitely a good. It's a good one. Funny enough, though, the Strider is thinner behind the edge than the Shaman, even though it has that thick blade stock. I mean, look at the difference in blade stock thickness. It's pretty dramatic, right? This is the Fatty again, Fatty SNG, but it's actually thinner behind the edge. So Strider definitely does a good job with that, with the edges, and most production companies don't do a good job because for some reason there's this weird thing that they want to have edges be tough, but most edges can be tough and still be thin behind the edge. Like you can get down to 15 thousandths behind the edge and still have a pretty tough edge, and it's gonna slice and cut way better. That was like my issue recently. Yeah, Neuroknives does. I really like Neuroknives' channel. I just kind of just stumbled upon Neuroknives. I'm gonna do some shout outs right now. So I'm gonna do a shout out to Neuroknives. If you're not following Neuroknives on YouTube and Instagram, go give him a follow. Really informative videos. Doesn't really do video reviews on knives, but he is big into edge geometry, cutting performance. He'll do cut tests. People were freaking out about his cut tests with the microtop. So common in the paramilitary too, because he was kind of tired and it was kind of right towards him. People were freaking out about that. But another guy I'm going to give a shout out to, two more guys I'm going to give a shout out to, Super Steel Steve. Super Steel Steve, a lot of you guys probably know. He's a professional chef, I think, in real life. And he's a funny dude and does some crazy live streams. And he does sharpening, a lot of sharpening. He's also a big edge geometry guy. And then Big Brown Bear Knives is another one that I've learned a ton from those three channels. I've been around a long time doing YouTube and stuff, and I've learned a ton from those guys in the last few weeks. A lot of stuff I knew, but a lot of stuff that reaffirmed that I've always said. But one thing that I've kind of always been I thought was really impactful on a nice cutting performance was the stock, the blade stock. But Neuroknives really kind of showed that, and I've always been a proponent of thin behind the edge knives. Every time I do a video review, I talk about that and I measure the thinness behind the edge of knives, and sometimes that's a deal breaker for me. But I've always kind of thought that knives with thicker blade stock wouldn't cut as well. But then, and this is before I started watching Neuroknives, I got this is actually in my buddies because I'm selling my 8015. But I got this 8015 and I remember doing some cardboard tests with this versus a few other much smaller, much thinner blade stock, and the 8015 cut better, and I was like, what? Like, it just didn't make sense to me. But the way Neuroknives kind of explains it, with the blade stock versus the thinness behind the edge and the edge geometry, it actually made a lot of sense. So it's not a bad thing to have a thick blade stock, as long as the knife is ground thinly behind the edge, and there's other things that the grind height that come into play for all that kind of stuff. So really like those three channels a lot. They're definitely different than your typical like knife reviewer channel for sure. They're more like, they're definitely not like Nick Shabazz or Birdshot or any of those kind of knives. Those kind of channels, they're way different. They're on the other end of the spectrum, I think. But they have a lot of good information, and I think Neuroknives has come across kind of bold to people, I guess, which it doesn't bother me. I think he's telling the truth, and I appreciate it. But some guys, he said he's might have come across a little strong, so that's all right though. I think he's giving out good information, and sometimes people, that's the way they're passionate. He's very passionate about it, which is cool because he really understands, and it's a science thing to him, and he really gets it. So I can see why he's passionate, but he's come across and kind of rubbed a few people the wrong way. But I definitely recommend watching his videos. He's got a lot of good content out there. Same with Super Steel Steve and Big Brown Bear. Big Brown Bear, man, is really smart when it comes. I mean, he makes custom knives. He does some crazy regrinds. He did one for Neuroknives on the Spidey Chef, and got it down to like 0.04 behind the edge, like 1,000. I mean, ridiculous. Like, so it really cuts like a kitchen knife. I got another Spidey Chef I actually traded for this recently, so I wanted to get another one back in the. I traded with Andrew over at 555 Gear. Check out his channel if you haven't. Yeah, they are a lot like Cedric and Ada. Good comparison, Logan. Cedric is a crazy dude. Like his videos make me laugh. He's so off the wall, crazy. He's more about like testing. God, why can I not think all of a sudden? Edge retention, where I think, and so Super Steel Steve. Super Steel Steve has done a lot of videos on edge retention and sharpening. They do a lot of that stuff. So they kind of geek out over the edge geometry. But where I think like Big Brown Bear is really, I mean, he's a custom knife maker, does regrinds. He gives you some very good information. Like, go watch his Spyderco Shaman video that he did. And I'll get to your question here in a second, Herm. Go watch the video he did with the Spyderco Shaman. He took it and he sharpened it on the Sharp Maker on just the brown stones, which I think are 400 grit, could be wrong. And it did a ton of cuts, and that's just a 400 grit edge. So it was crazy. Like, no polished edge, no nothing. It cut so well, it's toothy, and he's like, hey, S30V likes toothy edges. And so I really like those kind of channels because they kind of make you think differently about how you sharpen your knives and how everyone's always about, having these mirror polished edges. I mean, a lot of my knives have mirror polished edges on them. But I recently put a toothier edge on my Hinder XM18, and man, that thing cuts way better. It's crazy. Okay, Herm, so Strider, secondary market, there must be drops. I found mine on eBay, actually, surprisingly enough. There was a couple on eBay, priced reasonably, too, which was shocking. Much more reasonable than I've seen on the forums. I don't know how you go about buying them. I don't know. I follow Strider Knives on Instagram, and I don't remember seeing anything about a drop. Maybe there's a Facebook page or something. I can do more research and let you know, but I got mine off eBay. But there was just a recent drop of these, and I bet they'll probably trickle into some dealers. I mean, I know like GP Knives is historically sold Striders. Blade HQ's had them. But for right now, there was a recent drop, and this is from that drop, and I just found it on YouTube or on eBay, and for a good price for buy it now, and I just grabbed it because I knew it was gonna be hard to get, and the secondary market can be ridiculous on Striders. So, interested in the Spidey Chef, but hard to find. What would be your next choice? The Spidey Chef. They shouldn't be that hard to find. If you look on the secondary market, I see them pop up all the time. As far as new, I thought I saw them at, I think White Mountain Knives might be sold out, and you could use my 10% discount code. Check out White Mountain Knives. He may have some. Indiana Knives just became a Spyderco dealer, and he may have some. I think he's actually sold out though. But the reason why I love the Spidey Chef is, it's a it's mostly because it's the LC200N. I mean, the steel is awesome. So when I got this knife, I got in a trade, and he said it was a user, and he had touched up the edge, but really the edge was really pretty dull. And I was so impressed. All I did was strop this. I thought, man, yeah, good call on that Amazon too, Logan. But I stropped it, and man, it is like crazy sharp again. So I really like this steel. Like, it really, I think it's one of the best steels out there right now. It's a great combination. It's obviously the most corrosion resistant steel out there right now, I believe. Maybe, I think it's even more than H1. If not, it's about the same as H1, but it has way better edge retention. Is that the word I'm looking for? Edge retention? Yeah, sure. That's what I'm looking for. For some reason I'm having a freaking... Yeah, edge retention, yeah. It's got way better edge retention than H1. It's completely stainless. I mean, it will not rust, really. And I love the thinness of the knife. I love the wire pocket clip. Just a, great design. So, find a Spidey Chef. Don't I mean, unless you're like, I don't know why do you want a Spy Chef, I guess is the best question, Rob. What about it do you want? Do you want steel? Because there is other knives like the Spyderco Caribbean that's supposed to be really good, and the Native 5 Salt is an LC200N as well. If it's the steel you're after, there's some other options. If it's the combination of the steel and the titanium frame lock and the slimness and stuff, I can't think of another option, honestly, off the top of my head. The Swish Bowie, but it's all discontinued, and you're going to pay like $500 for a new one. So good luck with that. But yeah, I would say just look for a Spy Chef. I see them come up all the time for sale on Reddit, on the Reddit knife swap, on Blade forums, on really just those two places mostly. I don't see them too much on Instagram pop up or anything, but yeah, definitely recommend getting another Spy Chef if you can find one. Now this is actually not a QCI one, Logan. This is an older one, but I don't see what the big. I mean, I don't remember there being any issues with my Spy Chef. I had one of the originals. There's no lock stick or nothing, so it's been great. But I love the steel, man. I wish more companies would use that steel. It's fantastic how it has a good edge retention. It's easy to bring back to sharp, really easy. And Capara would be a good one, yes. That's not really comparable, though. It's a compression lock versus a frame lock. It's carbon fiber versus titanium. It's S30V versus... Isn't that what S30V? I think it is. Different blade shape. The Capara is a great knife, though. I would say my top Spydercos are the Spidey Chef, the Shaman, the Smock, and the Capara. I couldn't remember the name of the Capara the other day when I was doing a video. Drive me crazy, and I don't remember if it was a live video or if it was one that I'm gonna schedule in the future. But definitely my top 4 Spydercos. I think it's the best knives they make right now. Period. So definitely recommend. But yeah, the Capara is definitely one I wish I wouldn't have sold. I did sell it. And I think I bought the Smock, which I do love the Smock, but I really like the Capara too. So, but you know, so many knives, it's hard to have them all. I do like the Capara, but I would definitely say I like the Spidey Chef better. You just got the Smock and not crazy about it. That's kind of what I've heard. I think people either love the Smock. I think you're right, Steve, that the only CQC improvement was the ceramic detent ball. I think you're right. I just got it in a trade. I didn't know if it was a new one or not. I didn't really care that much. The cutting edge is too small. You know, that's kind of a thing with that choil. Yeah, the nice thing about the Capara is that it's got a pretty good blade. There is a little bit of a choil, but it doesn't really take away from the cutting edge as much as it does on the, like the Shaman is a good example of one that has a huge choil, but I love it. I would not trade that for anything. I'm glad they have that big choil, except for this little nub, which I talk about in my review. But yeah, the Capara, I don't remember the Capara having, I don't have it on me. I remember the choil kind of being almost built into the handle, they didn't take a lot out of the blade, but the reason why the Smock is like that is because that has to accommodate the button lock. You know, it has to be able to go around that button mechanism to then use the button to, you know, depress the compression lock. So it has to be like that on the Smock. It doesn't bother me. I think it's still got plenty of cutting edge from what I use knives for, but I know a lot of people aren't crazy about that knife. Some are loving it. I love it. I think it's one of the best Spydercos they've ever done. And I took out the secondary detent on mine, and it's crazy smooth. Like, it's actually like a button lock. It like just falls shut. I mean, it's got an addictive action. So I took out the secondary detent on mine. Some other guys have done that too. Yeah, Mighty Hanks is where it's at, man. I was just doing a shout out earlier to them. It's actually kind of a funny story. Gray Sentinel on Instagram. If you follow Gray Sentinel, he's a knife guy, also a big gun guy. And I'm part of this chat with him, and then he was saying that this is actually his wife's company. Mighty Hanks is his wife's company. And what I love about the Mighty Hanks is the back is microfiber. They're smaller for that I love. I think most Hanks are too big. These are a lot smaller than most Hanks, and they have a microfiber backing on all of their models, or all their Hanks, so you can clean your knives really well with them. You can clean your sunglasses. I mean, just stuff that I'm always looking for if you wear eyeglasses, they'd be really nice to have too. I don't wear eyeglasses, I wear contacts, but I use them all the time, and I love them. I carry those every day, so I want to give them a shout out in this video. So go check them out if you haven't. I did a video on them not too long ago. Another one I got in recently in a trade was this Umnumzon. And I can't open this with my left hand for some reason, and my thumb is jacked right now, so makes opening knives kind of hard. I got an Umnumzon Tanto again. I didn't have a Tanto knife in my collection. I got a nice nail trail already on that. And they do the best Tanto in the business, man. Chris Reeve, wow. Their Tanto is so good looking. And I like the Umnumzon over like the Sabenza or Nkosi Tanto because it has this additional swedge here. And then it has this finger groove, I guess we'll call it, area. Maybe you call it a top swedge, where you can kind of rest your finger. And I really like that. So I've always loved the Umnumzon, but I wanted to get the Tanto, and I found, was able to trade into this guy. So another new addition. So got another Strider. I need to stop. I'm not gonna be buying knives for a while. Got crazy lately, so yeah. You may see a knife sale coming soon. Just saying. I don't have anything yet, but what are you guys' thoughts on this knife? I did a video on this guy. Just released it today. I'm gonna call it the Acriest. Kenny Shaman's denubbing video yet? No, I thought it wouldn't be too hard to do. I looked at this, I'm like, that's so weird. It doesn't bug me though. Like, people have complained about this because you can see that where the compression lock sits, it's just right here, and people say, oh, it hits their finger. It hasn't been an issue for me at all. I haven't even noticed it, but I thought that can't be too hard to grind that off, right? I mean, just mark it right there, and then just, I don't know. That kind of makes me nervous. I'm not big on modding blades. I don't have the skills, so it makes me a little nervous to have that done. I'd like to have it done because I think you could still get a nice choil here without that nub. I can't. Yeah, I'll have to check out that video, Steve. I'll look it up. But it doesn't bother me. Like, it never hits my finger because I think the way I manipulate a compression lock is I get my finger out of the way fast enough that it never hits it. So not a big deal to me. But yeah, the Acrist, Arakis, Acrist. It's an interesting knife. I did a video on it today. Let me know what your thoughts are on that video. I had a lot of comments that people tend to agree with me on it. One of those really weird out there designs by Eliza Isham, and it's cool, and then the milling and everything. But it's such an art piece. It's not really a functional knife. I mean, it cuts. The stupid thing about it is it's super thin behind the edge, so it should be a really good cutter. But it's like ergonomically just not good. It's just weird, and it's just lots of sharp points and lots of sharp parts of the blade here. This all here is really sharp, and you get your finger in there and it kind of cuts you, and you have very little cutting edge or shoulder grind height at all because of this. So it just, yeah, I don't know. It looks cool. It's definitely if you're a collector or if you just, don't really use your knives, I guess. It's not really a user though. Yeah, I agree, Ari. Arlway, sorry, I called you Ari, but your name's Arlway. It's just not a user knife. Like, I can't imagine using this to do a whole lot. And it's, for me, I don't carry knives like that. I just don't. Every one of these knives, well, minus that guy because it's too small. Yep, but all these will get used and carried and used for whatever, and that's just the way I am. I just don't buy knives that I won't use. I usually end up selling them. This isn't mine though. This is a pass-around knife, so I was able to check it out without having to buy it, which is great. But same with this little guy. That's just too small. That's just, you can barely manipulate the flipper on it. And it's expensive for how small it is too. So, but we got videos coming on those soon. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the video here pretty soon, probably in the next 5-10 minutes. Is there anything else you guys want to chat about before I do? Any questions you want to bounce off me? Knife Junkie just posted his Elijah Isham podcast YouTube interview. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I actually think he's a great designer because he comes out with like very unique and and some of his designs are good users. The Civivi Anthropos, he's got a couple of the Civivi knives. Those are good users, and they're his designs. He had another one I can't remember that was a pretty good user knife, but a lot of them are kind of crazy like this, and he's definitely like got a good design eye. But I don't know, just I don't really mesh with a lot of his designs. So I think he's talented and knows what he's doing, obviously, but he's just a little different design wise. I think people either love him, I shouldn't say him, love his designs or don't. I don't think there's too much in the middle there. Thanks, Arl. Appreciate it. I'm glad you learned a lot from me. That's cool to hear. It's humbling a little bit because I don't think I know that much compared to most people. I mean, most knife guys are pretty much on the same level as I am, so as far as knowledge is concerned. But I guess, I've been around a while and I have, had a lot of knives, so I guess I have experience, maybe more knowledge. It's like that, yeah. But yeah, anything you guys want to bounce off me, we'll do kind of like Q&A here or for the last 5-10 minutes. Just be glad to answer any questions you have, and yeah, shoot them off in the comments down there. According to YouTube, I have no viewers, but there's a bunch of you in the comments. Kind of funny. YouTube and its live chats have issues. I used to do them back in the day, and it was on like Google something or other. What was that called? It was a Google video chat. I can't remember what it was called. Excuse me for that yawn. Wow. Thoughts on the Ferrum Forge on Mass Drop? They're really good deals. I'm not sure if you're asking for a specific model, but the Gent, the Dow, oh, there's so many good ones. I can't even think of them all right now. I think the Ferrum Forge Mass Drop collaborations are fantastic deals. They're really good values. They're really well made knives. They're mostly, I think they're all made by We Knives. Yeah, definitely, I think they're awesome. You cannot go wrong with one of those Mass Drop Ferrum Forge collaborations. You really can't. They're just good deals. Yes, Steve, I did see Rick Hinder's new video. That's exciting. I was hoping it would be a 3-inch non-flipper, like I have one, but it's an old school one. But it's a 3.5-inch non-flipper with the tri-way pivot, which is also very, very tempting because I love my 3.5-inch Hinder. It's a Warncliffe. I would like to get a drop point. Well, it's a spear point, right? I think he's doing spear point on those. I think they're spear point. Am I wrong? Yeah, another non-flipper in orange and red G10. I would totally get the red. I like the orange too, though, but I would probably grab that red G10. Although I want to get one of those because I want to try a non-flipper with that tri-way. He did say that the detents are pretty strong on them, though. But that I like that. That means they're going to fly open. I've always had good luck with the Hinder thumb studs, so I'm not worried about it. I'd like to pick one up. It's going to be a while before I can get one. And honestly, like, Hinders are just so cheap on the secondary market these days. It's insane. The things I think you're right on. It is a spear point. It's crazy how cheap the Hinders are in the secondary market. It's kind of crazy. So I'm going to kind of probably wait on that and get one on the secondary market used and probably save a few $100. I was just joking, not a few hundred, but probably 100. I see them typically go for like, what do they sell for? $425 normally. I think I usually see them in the $350 or lower range. It's crazy. So maybe not on those because I know they're kind of a new limited run, but a lot of the other ones. I definitely recommend the tri-way pivot though. I love it. I loved it on the new XM18, the half track. I want them to do it on the MP1. I want them to do it on FireTac. I mean, all the models need the tri-way. I think it's one of the best innovations in the knife industry, and I think especially for Hinder, because especially for his flippers, they weren't the greatest before, but now they're fantastic. My X118 is so smooth, like probably the smoothest knife it's probably the smoothest flipper I own. So, all right, guys, we'll do a couple more questions, and then I'm gonna wrap it up for the night. Appreciate you coming by on Easter Sunday. I know it's a kind of a family day, and yeah, I almost didn't do the stream, but I didn't do it last Sunday, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna knock it out, and we'll do it probably next week, back to our regularly scheduled. I don't know, I might change the time though, because Game of Thrones. It's like right during Game of Thrones. I don't know if you guys watch that or not, but it's a fantastic show. All right, well, if there's no more questions or comments or anything, I will kind of wrap up the stream. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Steve, Arloway, Logan. Want to give another shout out to Herm D, throwing $5 my way. That was awesome of you, dude. Really appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by, guys. And we will see you next week. Probably around the same time. I will probably schedule it again. Actually, I don't know. Every time I schedule it, doesn't work well. Like, it doesn't go in the right mode. So maybe I won't. But what I'll do is I'll put a post on the community tab, which I think when I put it on the community tab, it comes into your feed as if I was putting a video up. I could be wrong. Oh yeah, Steve, go flip them burgers, dude. Oh, I love cooking burgers on the grill. All right, guys, have a good Sunday. Happy Easter. God bless you. See you next time.